Here we have question number 37. So it states that 2 cosine of x divided by 3 minus root 3 is equal to 0. And so we want to solve for this now. And looking at this, obviously we can move the root 3 there and then divide both sides by 2. So we're left with cosine of x divided by 3 is equal to root 3 divided by 2, right? You know that this is on your unit circle, right? Root 3 divided by 2. But again, like you would for any other angle, you don't want to confuse this. Obviously, x divided by 3 is 1/3 x, but why don't we just say that let u is equal to x over 3, right? So we know that cosine of u then must be root 3 over 2, right? Therefore, u is obviously pi over 6, comma 11 pi over 6, right? Because cosine in quadrants 1 and 4 must be positive. So we know u must be this. Now, going back, we can now further deduce that pi over 6 plus 2 pi n must equal x divided by 3, right? And so x is just equal to, well, we're multiplying both of these values, pi over 6 and 2 pi n, by 3, right? So we're left with x is equal to pi over 2 plus, right, plus 6 pi n. So this is what we have for x, right? By solving this, we know x is equal to this. Then for the next one, we're looking at 11 pi over 6. So 11 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n must equal x divided by 3. And so similarly here, we see that x must be 11 pi over 2, right, plus 6 pi n. So we see that x is equal to pi over 2 plus 6 pi n, and then x is equal to 11 pi over 2 plus 6 pi n, right? So that's what we have here. Now we can obviously have our common denominator, so let me just erase this. So here we can now say that x is equal to pi plus 12 pi n divided by 2, right? That's one of your x equations here, right? And the second one here, again, use the common denominator, so you would have 11 pi, and then you have plus 12 pi n divided by 2. Again, this is 11 pi here. So we have this as our second one, right? Second equation. And now all we're doing is we're plugging in values for n again, and it's just an integer. So let's plug in 0 as the first one. So we see that x is equal to pi over 2. And let's do 0 here. And so doing that, we see 11 pi over 2. And this one is an interesting question, because if we do 0, we see that 11 pi over 2, it's crossing the unit circle, right? I mean, it's much more than just one revolution here. If we do plug in n is equal to 1 here, we get 13 pi over 2. Obviously, 4 pi over 2 is 1 revolution. So that's all. So really, we're seeing that within our defined restrictions and everything, for question number 37, our solution set is just x is equal to pi over 2. And obviously you can plug this in and see if you get 0 as your answer. So thanks for watching.